Some battles are remembered for brilliant strategy, but most are remembered because the ground was left covered in bodies and blood. Across history, armies have marched into fields, cities, beaches, trenches, forests, and frozen wastelands, believing they could win glory, defend their homeland, or change the future. But in the deadliest battles ever fought, victory often came at a horrifying price. Today, we're going to be examining battles where human life disappeared on an almost unimaginable scale. But we aren't just ranking them, because among all these battles, 6 will rise above the rest, each earning a unique honor for one unforgettable reason. For 93 days, one of the greatest cities in the world was slowly starved, infected, and destroyed. In 1521, Spanish soldiers and thousands of indigenous allies besieged Tenochtitlan, the capital of the Aztec Empire. Smallpox had already weakened the city, and during the siege, food, clean water, and hope began to disappear. Brutal fighting spread through the streets, canals, and causeways as the defenders tried to hold on. But on August 13, 1521, the final Aztec ruler, Cuauhtemoc, was captured, and the Aztec Empire collapsed. This battle changed history forever because it ended one of the most powerful empires in the Americas and opened the door for a new Mexico shaped by Spanish language, religion, government, and colonial power. By the time the Americans reached Hacksaw Ridge, survival already looked impossible. Japanese defenders were hidden in caves, machine guns covered the cliffs, artillery tore through the ground. Every yard of Okinawa had been taken through fire, mud, and blood. But one combat medic entered the battle differently from every man around him. He refused to carry a weapon. Other soldiers mocked him for it. Some believed he would get them killed. But when his unit was torn apart by Japanese fire and forced to retreat, he stayed behind. Alone, unarmed, and surrounded by enemy fire, he crawled across the ridge toward the wounded men left behind. One by one, he dragged them to the cliff's edge and lowered them down by rope. By the time he finally came down, he had saved around 75 men. In one of World War II's deadliest battles, the most unforgettable story belonged to a soldier who entered hell determined not to kill anyone. That man was Desmond Doss. .600. It's not usually a number that decides the fate of a nation, but on September 6, 1914, it became part of World War I's most unforgettable moments. Paris is on the edge of collapse as the German army is closing in. The French government has already fled the capital, and fear spreads that the city could fall at any moment. Then Paris does something unexpected. Around 600 taxi drivers are ordered to leave the city streets and rush French reinforcements towards the front. By the end of the night, roughly 3,000 soldiers are carried towards the First Battle of the Marne. These 600 taxis helped France win this battle. Well, sort of. German forces retreated as their plan for a quick victory collapsed, and the Western Front soon hardened into years of trench warfare. July 1st, 1916. A British soldier climbs out of his trench. Around him, thousands of other men do the same. For days, they had been told the German defenses were smashed. The barbed wire was gone, and the enemy was broken. All they had to do was walk across no man's land and take the position. Then, the machine guns opened. The artillery bombardment had failed to destroy much of the German defense. Many soldiers had survived in deep dugouts, and when the British advanced, they were waiting. Men were cut down in waves. Entire units were shattered before they reached the German lines. By sunset, Britain had suffered around 57,000 casualties, including nearly 20,000 dead, making July 1st, 1916 the bloodiest single day in British military history. This is an NFL stadium. Now imagine it is completely packed with fans. Keep this image in the back of your head, because it is the only way to truly understand the scale of what happened next. In June 1944, the Soviet Union launched a massive offensive against one of Germany's most important forces on the Eastern Front. The attack stretched across hundreds of miles, smashing through German defenses in Belarus and surrounding entire units before they could escape. This was not just a retreat, it was a collapse. German lines broke apart, cities fell, soldiers were trapped, captured, wounded, or killed as the Red Army pushed deep into German-held territory. By the time it was over, one of Germany's main army groups had been effectively destroyed. Now remember that packed NFL stadium? Multiply that by 4. That was the amount of soldiers that Germany lost. Which is why this battle earned the title of biggest military disaster. By the summer of 1916, Austria-Hungary's soldiers were trapped in a nightmare. Their trenches were supposed to protect them, but the Russians had studied every weakness. When the attacks began, there was almost nowhere safe to hide. General Alexei Brusilov did not use the old method of one massive, obvious assault. Instead, Russian forces attacked across a wide front, using surprise, short artillery barrages and carefully prepared strike points to tear open the Austro-Hungarian lines. The result was one of the most successful offensives of World War I. Austro-Hungarian defenses collapsed. Entire units surrendered. Hundreds of thousands of soldiers were killed, wounded, or captured. The offensive was so devastating that Germany had to send troops east just to keep its ally from falling apart. The Brusilov offensive earns the honor of most successful bloodbath because it actually achieved what so many World War I attacks failed to do. It broke through the enemy, but left a mountain of bodies behind.